Have you ever felt like no one around you truly understands the way you see the world? Like your thoughts, your emotions, your very way of being is on a different frequency, one that most people simply can't reach. There's a reason you feel isolated, and it's not weakness, it's the mark of awakening. In this video, you'll discover why highly spiritual people often feel alone, why society seems out of step with your inner truth, and how this solitude is actually the key to the life you were meant to live. By the end, you'll see your isolation not as a curse, but as a signal pointing to your next stage of growth, a stage that few ever experience, but those who do unlock a clarity and inner power that changes everything. The first thing to understand is that when someone awakens to higher consciousness, their perception of reality shifts in ways that are invisible to most people. Everyday conversations, routines, even jokes can feel hollow or disconnected. You start noticing patterns, motivations, and truths that others ignore. And suddenly the ordinary world begins to feel like a mask, hiding motives and distractions you no longer need. People may label you weird or detached, but what's really happening is that your mind has expanded, and your energy no longer resonates with the small dramas, endless gossip, and surface-level ambitions that dominate society. This is the quiet moment where many first feel the weight of isolation, yet it's also the moment that sets the stage for profound transformation. You've stepped into awareness, but awareness comes with a price. Clarity separates you from the crowd. And once you notice this, you start questioning not only the world but yourself, because now the mirror reflects things you were never ready to see before, and the question emerges, how do you navigate a life where connection feels rare, yet your inner knowing grows louder each day? The next challenge is the mismatch between your internal growth and external environment. Most people live in autopilot, trapped by routines, expectations, and validation from others. But someone on a spiritual path begins questioning everything. Your priorities shift, meaning replaces status, depth replaces small talk, and suddenly, even familiar relationships feel off balance. You notice your friends chasing things that no longer satisfy you, colleagues repeating cycles that seem meaningless, and family expectations that feel constraining. The pressure to conform can be subtle or intense, but either way it highlights a truth that society rarely admits. Those who pursue higher awareness often feel alienated. Yet within this alienation lies a hidden gift. The solitude forces you to confront your own mind, to explore your inner world in ways that ordinary distractions never allow. This is where the first spark of independence ignites, the spark that will ultimately lead you towards self-mastery, but only if you're willing to look deeper, beyond the surface of your discomfort. Isolation also reveals the subtle ways in which energy affects connection. Spiritual people often have heightened sensitivity to emotional frequency, truth, and authenticity. You can feel when someone's words don't match their energy, when motives are hidden, or when intentions are shallow. This sensitivity is both a gift and a curse. It helps you navigate life with discernment, yet it also makes it harder to find people whose energy aligns with yours. Casual interactions start to feel draining. Gatherings feel performative and small talk becomes exhausting. You might catch yourself craving silence, reflection, and depth instead. And here's the twist most people don't see. The very thing that isolates you, your awareness, also magnetizes you to experiences and people that are on a higher level of truth. In other words, the loneliness isn't permanent. It's a filter, a sieve that separates shallow connections from the ones that will elevate you. The challenge is enduring the waiting, the patience needed before genuine resonance finally appears. And this waiting tests not just your resilience, but your commitment to living on your own terms. Another layer of solitude comes from the nature of perception itself. When your mind awakens, you begin to see the unseen forces that shape society, the subtle influence of fear, greed, conformity, and distraction. You notice that people are often prisoners of their own habits, rarely questioning why they live the way they do. You might try to explain your insights, but they can fall flat or worse, provoke resistance or ridicule. This is when the feeling of being different deepens, because awareness becomes both a lens and a burden. You're observing life on levels that others aren't ready to see. And in that observation lies a paradox. The more conscious you become, the more isolated you feel, yet this very isolation is exactly what will allow you to transcend ordinary limitations. The key is learning to flow with this solitude, rather than resist it. It's in these quiet spaces where understanding feels scarce, that your inner voice becomes louder, guiding you toward clarity, purpose, and the extraordinary experiences that await beyond the crowd. Perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of spiritual isolation is the growth it accelerates. In a world where distractions dominate, being alone forces you to confront your own mind, beliefs and patterns in a way that no group or society ever could. Every moment of discomfort becomes an opportunity for self-reflection. Every feeling of being misunderstood teaches patience, empathy, and resilience. And here's a truth that few realize. The solitude of spiritual people isn't emptiness, it's a crucible. It strips away illusions, removes attachments, and reshapes your understanding of life. What feels like loneliness now is actually preparation, a refining of your awareness, and a cultivation of depth that eventually allows you to connect with the right people, the right environments, and the right opportunities. The trick is to see the gift hidden in what seems like a burden, and to trust that the discomfort is part of a larger journey toward mastery. Finally, the transformation comes when you stop seeking external validation and instead embrace your own truth. You begin to realize that society's metrics, approval, popularity, material gain, no longer hold sway over your inner compass. Solitude stops being a punishment and becomes a sanctuary. You develop the ability to thrive without needing everyone to understand you. And once you reach this stage, an extraordinary shift occurs. The isolation that once felt heavy becomes empowering. You move with clarity, make decisions from a higher place of awareness, and attract experiences that mirror your true energy. This is the moment where being spiritual no longer feels lonely, because your connection with yourself becomes profound, and the right people and situations naturally resonate with your vibration. You're no longer living to fit in. You're living to grow, to expand, and to access levels of insight and fulfillment that few ever achieve. If you felt alone, misunderstood, or out of sync with the world, know that it is not a flaw, it's a signal. It's proof that your mind is awake, your awareness is expanding, and you are moving towards something far greater than ordinary life. The solitude you experience now is temporary, in the sense that it prepares you for clarity, purpose, and connection that aligns with your highest self. The choice you face is simple yet profound. Continue seeking validation and connection in places that cannot support your growth, or embrace the isolation, lean into it, and allow it to guide you toward experiences, relationships, and levels of understanding that will forever change your life. The people, opportunities, and clarity you are meant to encounter will not come to those who chase conformity. They come to those who cultivate their own inner light, even when it feels unseen. Take this as your next step. Lean into your awakening, honor your solitude, and trust that every moment of feeling alone is actually shaping you into the person you are meant to become. The moment you stop fearing the distance from society, you start stepping into a reality that few ever see. A life lived fully on your own terms, with awareness, depth, and power that cannot be taken from you.